right?
No, I don't think we've ever actually met in person. I think it's more friends of friends and then social media. And then
Yeah.
our shared interest for democratic politics, chiefly JFK.
Yes, I have always, yeah, like funny story real quick before we get into it. Obviously, some of my listeners that follow me, I'm obsessed with the Kennedys, always have been since a kid. And so I remember at one point, our mutual friend Jenny was like, "You need to follow this kid, Joe."
I have no shortage of Kennedy paraphernalia, whether it's, a Ted Kennedy campaign poster, a Bobby Kennedy, campaign button, or this like JFK painting reprint from the 60s, like any good Massachusetts Democrat.
That's what's up. Well, first of all, tell people where you're at as we record.
Yeah, so I'm actually sitting here at the Kennedy School of Government here at Harvard, and actually right behind me are some undergrad dorms.
Very
Do not
cool.
cost states a dime. You've got governors who are consciously deciding that we're gonna take the partisan route, and we're not going to go and implement this a program that's going to go and provide access to more and quality healthcare for our people. That's just that's just like one bit of the pie of how the intense partisanship has just deteriorated the way that people look at politics and public service.
Would you say, and this is just me assuming, which obviously isn't always good, I'm
Yeah.
assuming that is the Boston, Massachusetts area considerably lean more left than right? Or is
Yeah,
that
look, I think it's incredibly democratic. I think this whole part of the country is incredibly democratic. I don't think that there is. Let me think about this for a second. Yeah, there is not a single member of the U.S. House of Representatives from any state in New England who's a Republican. I think that, right, which is pretty interesting, right? There is one Republican senator, Susan Collins, and there are two independent members of the Senate, Angus King from Maine and Bernie Sanders from the state of Vermont, who do caucus with the Democrats. But by and large, this is a part of the country where, in terms of federal politics, it's incredibly democratic. When it comes to picking our governors, it's a bit of a different story, right? Charlie Baker here in the state of Massachusetts served as governor for 2 terms. Governor Sununu up in New Hampshire is on his third or fourth term. So you see people are a bit more willing to stray from the party lines as the races get denationalized and become more localized. Registration.
because every time I see him on TV, at the bottom, like of the ticker or
Yeah,
whatever, it'll be like
it says I.
parentheses I. So that's
Yeah,
interesting perspective.
yeah. So he is a member of no political party, technically. And look, that's where the lion's share of the country is moving towards. If you look at new registration leans heavily towards unaffiliated. And a big part of that is many states have semi-open primaries or open primaries where you don't have to be a Democrat to vote in the Democratic primary. You don't have to be, right? You could be unenrolled, you could be independent. Excuse me, you could be you could be full on independent like Senator Sanders. And I think you're going to see a lot of states move toward the California model where there is a primary,
Mhm.
all the candidates are on it from every party, and then the top two go on to the general, which basically takes the need for party registration out of the equation to go and vote.
Right. And real quick, just for some comedic relief for myself, obviously we're on Zoom, so you get to look at yourself. I put on this lotion prior, and it literally looks like I'm profusely sweating.
I thought it was the intensity of talking about democratic politics on a March afternoon, or March morning.
It could. That could maybe that's like a subconscious thing in my brain. So LOL for those that are watching a clip on YouTube. I'm not profusely sweating. But okay, so this is that
Yeah,
your vibe.
yeah, I think it's a fair assessment.
And so how do you think that plays out? What's your prediction?
Look, I think at the end of the day, Ron DeSantis is nothing more than the cover band of Donald Trump. And I think that if Republican Party voters want the real thing, why why would they go for DeSantis when they have Trump in the flesh who's on the ballot? There's still a sizable chunk of the Republican primary, I'd venture to say a majority, who subscribe to that Trump DeSantis way of thinking.
It's just it's very interesting. I feel like I'm starting to watch, like, do you remember that old show Celebrity Deathmatch on MTV?
Oh yeah, that's basically what this is, but it's going to go and publicly unfold.
Hmm.
Look, and I think too, like you're seeing, you even see the dialogue go and deteriorate as they begin to rip each other apart on the right, like soundbite by soundbite. Has nothing to do with the merits of governing. You got to be honest; it's because Donald Trump's record is absolutely horrific at best, and frankly, I don't think Ron DeSantis has done that much better.
Any
Sorry, when you look at the list of books that are banned and this push for firearms to be readily accessible, it just doesn't make sense where their priorities are. I believe it's either Tennessee or Texas who just went and lowered the concealed carry age from from 21 to 18. And I think, you know, there are so many other important parts of our public policy areas that need to be addressed right now, not necessarily making it easier to carry a concealed firearm.
when I've even had because obviously I my Instagram stories I post lots of different random things,
Right.
and I've had a couple people come back at me with, obviously I don't know what I shared, but obviously instead of banning TikTok and banning books and banning abortion, why don't you ban assault, weapons, obviously. And I've had a couple of people come back at me and be like, that won't solve anything. What do you say to people that say that?
I mean, it's just not true. There's quantifiable data that shows when the assault weapons ban was overturned, an explosion in rates of uh, of violent crime with these types of weapons, right? And not for nothing, too. The GOP talks a lot about the need for mental health. They vote against funding mechanisms to go and deliver those services. They have proactively stopped Medicaid expansion, which would give more people the access to healthcare services that they need. They proactively demean teachers. I mean, it's like, guys, you know what? At some point, the results have to match the rhetoric, and it's just not there. It's just not there at all.
No, 100%. Yeah, that's my thing. It's like, okay, obviously mental health is an issue, but then it's like, you're right. Like, if that's the concern in the lane that they want to pick in, yes, support things that say that.